Good Tuesday evening, everyone. It's June 14th, 2022. Welcome to episode 65 of Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that sports. I'm Bobby Cash. I'll be joined briefly by my co host, Chris Amos. You'll hear the phone ring and he'll join the show. We'll talk all sorts of subjects tonight. We'll talk first and foremost, Phillies baseball, a team that's won 9 out of 10 and now 10 out of 11 after they beat the Marlins last night 3-2 on a game-winning hit by Reese Hoskins in the ninth. Phillies have been on fire. They've cut the lead in the NL East. Well, they haven't cut the lead. The Braves actually have cut the lead. The Phillies are now 8.5 back. The Braves, who seem to always play well whenever the Phillies play well, have won 11 straight. They are only 5 games back of the Mets. Could we see yet another New York Mets collapse? A team that looked like they had run away with the division in June. They had a 12.5 game lead on everyone. They were taken off with it, have now had a couple injuries, and they've slipped. And they're the Mets being the Mets. And now they're only up 5 games on the Braves and 8.5 on the Phillies. Good evening, Taryn. Good evening, Bobby and Chris. Have an amazing show. We appreciate you joining us. Also, as always, Taryn. The Phillies currently trail the Marlins 4-0 after Zach Eflin let up a pair of 2-run home runs in the first inning. I'll wait till Chris joins me to talk about the new addition to the team, Yaro Munoz, as the Phillies have sent Mickey Moniak back to the minors, the number 1 pick in the 2016 draft, who has just not worked out. Just has not worked out for this team. And it's sad. I mean, he's a guy, you thought was a 5-tool player. He had everything. He had power, first bonus. And there he is, as previously mentioned, Chris Amos joining the show on Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris.
Hi, Bobby.
Hello. What's going on?
I have an announcement to make.
Uh-oh.
I have, after 50 years of being a fan of the Phillies, I can no longer be a fan of any team that has JT Realmuto on.
So you know what happened.
I get a small break there to check my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Bases loaded, and before I blinked, it's a double play again.
The
only good thing he's done is bring me and you together.
Yeah, it's the same double play every time. You know where the hit was, right? The reaching out for the outside pitch where he throws the bat out and grounds it right up the middle. The guy standing on the bag, steps on the bag, and first for the double play.
I couldn't see it. I just saw it on the.
It's just
play on the phone.
It's like a replay every single time the bases are loaded. And we've had a crowd that's joined us now. We're like the grassroots movement. We started it. Now there's all kinds of accounts in Philadelphia. You know, get rid of JT. Philly sports sufferer. This guy can't stand JT. We started it. So.
Well, it's not so much that we started it, which is true. It's the fact that we just recognized what
Early on.
Bringing to the table, and Bobby, he's now causing more outs than at bats.
Yeah, right. That should be a new stat. Outs per at bat.
I mean, I didn't get to see much of or any of what's happened so far.
Okay.
Eflin just giving them pitches to hit.
Yeah, I'll recap. You only missed 2 minutes of the show, of our show. Basically, I talked about the Mets and basically how they've started to collapse early this year. They've cut it down to Braves have it to 5 on them already. I think the Braves are 12 back. The first inning, Zach Eflin got the first 2 guys out. Next guy reaches base on a single. Next guy is Aguilar, 2-run home run, blasted on a 2-0 pitch. Next guy reaches his bat out, check swing single. Then he got another 2-run home run right after that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was Aguilar and then Garcia. It's just two home runs with 2 outs.
Well, I just checked the Braves score, and they're up a touchdown on.
They're on fire. Every time the Phillies play well, it seems like the Braves play better.
Well,
At
maybe
one,
the Braves are just better.
well, I mean, at one point the teams combined were 21-1 for the month. I think that might be their record actually.
Yeah, and also what's kind of frustrating is the reason why Atlanta can do what they can do it. And yeah, I mean the Phillies have won a number of games here, but the starting pitchers for Atlanta, they don't have a Ranger Suarez. They don't have a Zach Eflin who on any given night can just implode.
No, they bring up guys that are they're mediocre to best and they just succeed at the major league level. I don't know if it's coaching or the stadium. I don't know what it is, but as the Phillies get 2 men on to start the third, all just like the first. Hello, Cheyenne says congrats on episode 65. It is episode 65. Thank you. Terrence says Chris can no longer cheer for the Phillies as there's a drive deep into center field for a home run, I guess, which will make the score 4-0. Yeah, we saw that one. Or he didn't say it.
I mean, I've said this a few times on social media, and it's not a joke anymore. People like me and you should not know more about players than people running a franchise.
Oh, I mean, this guy was brought here by the previous regimes. I mean, I'm sure that Dave Dombrowski recognized it. He's probably had enough himself. So, what's he have left? What's he have left on his deal? What's he have? 2 more years after this?
I think it's 3. I'm not sure if Dombrowski gave him the money or not when they re-signed him to 5 years, $125 million.
Wow. I'll get on that on the contract.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was him or not, but it's. And I understand paying guys and trying to wait through things or whatever, but he's never been good.
No, nope, never been good. And I always say about what's his signature moment? And it's what, the one home run you mentioned against the Braves on opening day. That's his signature moment.
Well, when I think about it, I mean, he had a grand slam in 2019 against the Braves. He had a walk-off home run in a game that was stopped the night before due to rain against the Marlins last year. And in that 8-game win streak, in one game, he got a hit in the, I believe this was the bottom of the 7th. I think it was in the bottom of the 7th, or it could have been bottom of the 9th. I'm not sure if it was a doubleheader game or not. But he got a hit to tie the game, and the Phillies went on to win that game 8-7 over Washington. He drove in 2 tying runs. But other than that, it's just been downhill. And an aging catcher,
right.
I've never known an aging catcher who improves.
And I've never seen a catcher play this many games, too. He has to play him, but every day he plays this guy. Give Stubbs play Stubbs twice a week.
At least.
I mean, they're 31-30. He's played 54 games. He's only sat 7 games.
Wow.
It's just way too much. Stubbs has played good ball. Let this guy play.
And apparently the best catching prospect in Major League Baseball the Phillies have.
Yeah, Logan O'Hoppe. Is it a Hoppy or Hop?
I think it's O'Hoppe.
Okay, the one thing I said I was going to wait for you to mention was, do you know who's playing second base for the Phillies tonight?
Is it Beerling?
So you haven't seen yet.
No, I have not. I put the game on here, and I see they got 2-1, but no, who is playing second base?
All right, so the game came on after the commercial, and they showed the Phillies running out to the field. They showed him on the top step, and Tom McCarthy says, Yariel Munoz couldn't wait to get back on the field as he hasn't played in the majors since 2019. I said, who?
Yeah.
So second base for the Phillies tonight is Yariel Munoz.
Yeah, I saw that today. You're right. I should have put that together that they would play him. I guess he came up and Moniak went down.
Yeah, Moniak went down.
It's enough with Moniak.
Yeah, I think my last tweet was, has Moniak ever hit the ball? He strikes out every time he's up. He just looks lost on the curveball, and all the teams know it, and they throw him that same breaking ball in the inner half, and he can't hit it. This Munoz guy's a very interesting story. As the Phillies are about to have the bases loaded, nobody out here. If Harper can, he has a 3-0 count.
Wow.
Yeah, ball four. Trevor Rogers is really struggling. The Phillies should have scored multiple in the first. And,
Who's up, Castellanos?
yeah, has also hits a lot of ground balls.
And then JT.
Correct. So this Munoz guy actually had 500 at bats in the majors, and he's a good little player. He looks like. He was playing in a spring training game for the Cardinals, and he says he felt something pop in his hamstring. This is in 2020. This is in a preseason game. He walked into the dugout, got in his car, and went to the airport and flew back to the Dominican Republic, unbeknownst to the Cardinals. And the Cardinals tried to determine what was going on, and they said he just wasn't happy there, according to his agent. He was frustrated with how they used him, and he didn't like the writing on the wall that he was seeing, and he basically asked to be released. And the Phillies picked him up. And he was hitting 345 in the minors this year. Or 319 with a 345 on base percentage and 5 homers.
Well, they need some infielders. They're taking guys who are outfielders and putting them on the infield.
Yeah, how about that? I didn't know Verlaine could play the infield.
No, I didn't either.
I saw your tweet saying play him every game.
Well, they're 2-0 with him playing the infield.
Yeah.
That's why I put that out there.
So this is a guy that started in 2012 when he was 17 years old with Oakland A's. And he's made his way through the minors, and he played for the Cardinals 88 games and the Boston Red Sox 12 games, total of 100 games. I'm sorry, wait, 213 games. Oh, he played 108 games in 2018. This guy's been around. I mean, he has 150 hits in the majors, 521 at bats, 11 homers, got a little pop. Strikes out a lot. He's hit 275. I mean, this is a decent player. It's kind of like a little comparison to Segura.
Yeah, speaking of Segura, I was watching something just yesterday on YouTube. I didn't realize on a bunt attempt, I think when he was with Milwaukee, he took a ball straight to the face.
Yeah.
Basically, he's out 3 months now because of something he screwed up on a bunt attempt.
Yeah, I do recall that. And
the pitch to the face, that wasn't a mistake on his part because the pitch was so inside, but it's just amazing that he's gotten these two injuries just from trying to bunt. Well, we got Castellanos up here with a 1-2 count. Is he turning into JT?
That's what I said the other night. They're the same player.
Oh, my goodness. Phillies need to get 2 runs.
He struck out.
Yep.
Ball would have hit him in his knee.
Yep. Yeah, I think what you're seeing, and now JT's up again with the bases loaded and 1 out. Yeah, you're seeing another reason why a team that can win 9 of 10 and not really be a contender.
Yeah, and I looked into the crowd tonight, and I said, look at all these people. I mean, these people wouldn't be at the game if they didn't win this 9 out of 10. And I as a fan, have no desire to want to go. They still don't do it for me. They have one player, Bryce Harper, that's worth the price of admission.
Yeah, and Schwarber when he's hitting the long ball every now and then.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's Harper. And see, I know baseball can be a long season and a lot of different things go on in a season, but teams that succeed in these type of situations, like if this is Atlanta playing Florida and their pitcher was struggling, Atlanta at least puts 2 runs up in the first and then get the bases loaded again. They tie the game,
yep.
And they tell the pitcher, hey, we got you back in. Let's go. The Phillies can't do that.
Right.
Unless JT hits 1 out here.
I want to put the volume up and see if he gets to do a double play, if the crowd just lets him have it. I'm sure they booed him the first time.
Rightfully so. I mean, he did the same thing last night. Fortunately, the double play he hit into didn't cost him the game with Gregorius getting a hit. I mean, that was a great win last night for the Phillies to bounce back after what happened on Sunday. But baseball is the greatest sport, but it's also the worst sport because 24 hours later, You can go from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows.
Right. There it is. Double play ball. He beat it out. Chisholm couldn't get the hold of the ball. So an RBI for the worst catcher in baseball, JT.
Yeah, that's another thing I never understood too. I I had to tweet that out of the. I forget what game I was watching.
Yeah, I know what you're gonna say.
A few nights ago, when a guy grounds into a seemingly double play and the batter beats it to first base and the fans cheer. Why?
They're cheering for the run, I would think.
Well, that's why I said unless a run scores or it got a guy to third base with less than 2 outs. But when it's just a straight chance for a double play and he happened to beat it out, it's like the guy just made it out.
Right.
And he also, I mean, that's not a hit. That's not that bad. That doesn't even count for on base percentage, I don't think.
No, it doesn't. No. I have an interesting little story. Last week when the Phillies were playing the Brewers, the day game in Milwaukee, I think it was the last game of the series.
Right.
I'm at work, so I found this new app that you could listen to Major League Baseball games on radio stations for free. And I tried all 3 of the Philadelphia channels, and none of them worked. So I said, let me try the Milwaukee broadcast. I click on the first one, and I get Bob Uecker. So I listened to a whole game of Bob Uecker announcing. Yeah, it was cool. And it's funny because he's like, he's older. So, some of the things he would say were, he
been outside.
Yeah, but Corbin Burns was pitching for the game for Milwaukee. And he said, Corbin Burnson getting prepared for the Brewers, and he says, Corbin Burns. He said Corbin Burnson's probably prepared already.
Yeah,
he was in Major League, right?
Yeah, he was a shortstop, third baseman. I'm blanking on his name right now.
Wasn't he Jake Taylor? Or no, was that the? Or was he the?
No,
was he Roger Dorn?
Dorn, that's who it was.
Yeah.
Yep. Don't give me any of that Jose.
Yeah.
And he's the one whose wife saw him going up the elevator on TV with another woman.
With Charlie Sheen. With Charlie, right? Charlie Sheen.
Yeah. She went in with slept with Rick Vaughn.
Right.
To get back at him.
That manager, what was his name? He reminded me of Jim Fregosi.
Lou?
Yeah, Lou.
I forget what his last name
Yeah.
was. I like that guy in the movie.
Yeah, I must have watched that movie 50 times over the years. Bits and pieces.
Yeah, Bob Uecker was really good in that movie, and I just remember the one scene where he's there in the booth with his radio man, and it's like he's going over at the end of the game. One hit, we got one lousy stinking hit.
Mm-hmm.
Or at the end, welcome to the happy hunting ground. The Indians have tied it at 2, and they're no longer the Indians. That team does not exist anymore.
I'm showing that we're still broadcasting. Taylor says we're on commercial here. I didn't select any commercial. The website crashed. Guys, do you hear us out there?
Yeah, I just have you on the phone. I don't have the computer in front of me.
It still shows that we're broadcasting. We may have to. And she said you sounded like a robot a few minutes ago. We might have to do the old switcheroo at the break.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, he hears me. I hear you now. It was a jewelry commercial. That must have been one of our new sponsors. I don't know. A jewelry commercial. Yeah, they hear us.
That's good.
All right, so back to Major League. Major League was made in what, 1990? I felt like I was about 12 years old.
I saw it when I was a senior in high school, so that was 1990.
What a guess. That movie is 32 years old. That is unbelievable. 1989. It did $75 million at the box office.
Wow, that was probably good for back then.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Because tickets were probably a third of what they are.
Yeah, the second one did not impress me as much as the first one.
No, definitely not. I mean, it's not something you'd watch over and over again. No.
No, what was good about the second one was there was the one group of fans the 3 guys who carried over from the first movie. And the one guy was always, don't lose now. Mm-hmm. He came around to being like the negative person. Until he finally made it to the World Series.
His name was Lou Brown was his name, the manager.
Yep.
And he was only 50 years old at the time. He looked like he was much older.
Yeah, and it had the guy in there. I don't know his character unless you pull it up. The guy who was starting pitcher, but he was in that. He was in Rudy, and he was in Hoosiers.
The knuckleball guy.
I think so. I think maybe he was the guy. I think who
He was like the Phil Necro type guy.
Yeah, he's the guy who came out when Rick Vaughn came in to get the final out.
That would have been not Vic. The guy with the mustache, right?
No. He's the guy who Pedro Serrano. The bat came out of his hands and hit him in the back of the head. The guy who peed on Jobu. It's that guy.
I know who you mean. I can't.
Yeah, you'll recognize his face as soon as you see it. And he was the coach in Rudy at the end.
Oh, it's got to be Chelsea Ross, Eddie Harris.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And Haywood for the Yankees was Pete Vukovich.
You're right.
Yeah. I'm looking at all the actors here.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Steve Yeager was Duke.
Well, with it being the summertime, and I know we do have some things to discuss, but we've gone into movies and different things. What sports movie do you think is like the best one of all time? And that guy's name is Chelsea
Ross.
Chelsea Ross.
Yep. See, whenever you get asked this question, there's different types of sports movies. There's the comedy and there's the serious sports movie. You know what I mean? I like Major League. That's not my number one, of course. You always say The Natural, but The Natural's, I guess it has its slow times. And then you can ask what sport. I mean,
right.
It's so tough. I mean, I'm not a big fan of football movies per se. I'd rather watch a baseball movie or a basketball movie. White Man Can't Jump was really good.
It was.
I really like White Man Can't Jump. Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm asked that question, or sometimes when it's being thrown around or whatever, I mean, my answer is always Hoosiers. I mean, because that's my second favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
Hoosiers. And for anyone out there who wants to know a little bit of Chris Amos, my favorite movie of all time is called City of Angels. It's the one with Nicolas Cage, yeah, and Meg Ryan. City of Angels is my favorite movie ever.
Wow. How about you guys? Everybody on the chat board, what's your favorite sports movies of all time? Shane, thanks for joining us. Chris could be a little louder. We just cleaned out my phone too. We made my speakers. I thought better sounding. I bought this little cleaning kit. I have you all the way up. So.
Well, as of now, this should be the last week where we have this kind of issue because the baseball season around here will be coming to an end, and I don't have any games scheduled after this week. Unless they throw some makeups out there or whatever. Nothing's umpire.
Yeah, we got the vacation time coming up. It's really the slow time of the year. White Men Can't Jump. How about golf movies? You go with the. You ever see Tin Cup?
Yeah, was that with
Costner?
Yes. Yeah, not one that comes to mind right away. I mean, of course, being a golf movie, it will come to mind. I mean, mine's going to be what was it? Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore. You got Caddyshack. I haven't seen Caddyshack in a very, very long time.
Yeah, I don't know if that still holds up or not.
Shane says The Big Lebowski. It's a great bowling movie.
Yep.
Is that John Goodman? Or no? That was Kingpin with John Goodman, right?
No, Goodman was in Big Lebowski. I don't know if he was in Kingpin or not.
No, Kingpin was Randy Quaid, I believe.
Yeah, and the Big Lebowski. I remember that with some of the bowling. I'm trying to think who all was in that.
Yeah, I don't remember myself. Who was in it, Shane? What were some of the actors?
Yeah, we'll get the staff here on it real quick.
Raging Bull, we have.
It was Jeff Bridges and John Goodman.
Mm.
And that I don't know if he was in Kingpin or not.
Happy Gilmore and Waterboy, we have.
I forgot about this, but I'm looking here at the people who are in The Big Lebowski, and it's got two of my favorite all-time actors in it. That being Philip Seymour Hoffman, also from I'm trying to think. Philip Seymour Hoffman. He was in probably my third favorite movie ever, Son of a Woman. But he was in a lot of good movies. And then also from The Big Lebowski. I don't know if you'll recognize this guy, but Mark Pellegrino. And he's a guy who I won't be able to forget him because he played an iconic role on the show Lost.
Okay.
He was on Dexter too at one point, and he was in a couple other shows after that. But on Lost, they always talked about this guy Jacob from like season 1 to 4, and he finally shows up in season 5, and he played the caricature.
I would need 10 years to catch up on all the TV shows that I haven't seen.
I know.
I can barely get anything, each night. It's like I'll watch like 1 or 2 episodes of Better Call Saul, and I'm only on episode 8 of season 1. It's just taking me forever.
Yeah, it's on season 2 now, isn't it?
No, it's on like season 6.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't believe that either. Doesn't seem like it's been around that long.
Wow.
They're just pumping out episodes. I finished Stranger Things last night, so I'm all caught up on that.
Yeah, I started watching that. I'm trying to get into the first season.
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay. Well, you'll be watching. We'll be on episode. If we're on 65 now, double that. It'll be episode 130. You'll still be catching up.
I know.
Better Call Saul.
I know. It's crazy. You know what I spend so much time on is trying to find my spot because I fall asleep watching it. So I pretty much have to watch like a whole episode. I'm like, wow, I made it this far. It'll take me 40 minutes to find my spot, and then by the time I catch up. Have you heard of the Blue Mountain State? That's a movie, right?
I haven't heard of it. No.
What is the Blue Mountain State? What state is that? Like Wyoming or somewhere out there?
Like Montana, maybe.
Who's your caddy? What's that?
Sounds funny. It's got to be a comedy. Well, see, and the one thing too, when you're talking about sports movies, and we haven't mentioned Rocky, and when
right.
This Philly sports talk with Cash and Chris.
True. Okay, well, speaking of Rocky, have you watched Hustle?
I have not, and I need to.
Yeah, you got to watch it. I describe it as a basketball Rocky movie.
Okay, good.
Very similar. So yeah, it was good. I watched the whole thing. It had a lot of NBA players in it. A lot of cameos.
Okay.
And even like there's Anthony Edwards, the player for Minnesota. He plays another character in the movies. So he did a pretty good acting job. And it's a good movie.
Anthony Gargano's in it, correct?
Yeah, he's in a couple scenes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like he plays himself. He plays the Philadelphia Reporter.
Okay.
Yeah. Alec Boehm has really, really struggled. His average is down to 246.
Yeah, he has been struggling. I mean, he came out of it there for a little bit and helped the Phillies win that one game against the Brewers with that big home run off of Josh Hader. But yeah, since then he's been struggling. And Bobby, you go back and you look at the history of Dave Dombrowski. He moves people like Alec Boehm.
Yeah. He'll want to bring in a veteran for him. Yeah.
Yeah, I was. It was my wife and I's 4-year anniversary was last Thursday, and we spent the night at a hotel that was right next to the restaurant where we had our first date, and we flipped on, I believe it was HBO Max, and Moneyball was on. And speaking of sports movies, and we were watching that, and there's one part in there where Brad Pitt, who plays Billy Bean, is typing in, and he says, "Get me Dave Dombrowski on the phone. Get me Ed Wade on the phone."
Taylor says, "Happy anniversary to you. Happy anniversary."
Thank you, guys. Yeah, 4 years, but it seems a lot longer. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. I don't mean that in a bad way, though.
It goes by fast. It's amazing how fast the years go.
And it was just, I guess, Dombrowski was with the Tigers at that point.
Okay, yeah, that's where he knows Castellanos from.
Correct.
Right.
Did he win? He was the general manager of the Marlins when they won the World Series, correct?
Back when Jack McKeon was the manager?
I I'm guessing that's what it had to be. I guess that was that 2004 because the Tigers. He didn't win one with the Tigers. I think he made it to the World Series, but he didn't win one with them.
Yeah, he made it with I believe Max Scherzer was on that team.
Yeah, he was.
Let me see here. Yeah, he's been with a lot of teams. He's been with the White Sox. 1978 he began his career. How old is he?
Wow.
He's 65. White Sox Montreal Expos, 87 to 91. They had Florida Marlins 93 to 2001.
Oh.
No, he did not. He did not win the World Series.
He was the general manager when they won it in '97 when they had almost the All-Star team there.
Yeah. The Gary Sheffield.
Yeah, when they won in 7 games over the Indians.
Right. They beat the Braves in the NLCS with the Eric Gregg calling pitches that were a basketball outside for Livan Hernandez strikes.
And if you want to see how bad he was, go back to the game where Fernando Valenzuela threw a no-hitter. I mean, my goodness.
Yeah, you can watch that game on YouTube. That some of those calls that were just unbelievable.
I know.
I mean, you don't do that in an NLCS during the regular season. I can understand it a little bit, but you don't do that in the playoffs. And it's amazing they even let him umpire a playoff game with his reputation, especially behind the plate.
Yeah, it'd be like Angel Hernandez being back there.
Yeah. So he was with Detroit for 13 years, 2002 to 2015. Then the Red Sox, 15 to 19, and now the Phillies. 2-time.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people thought that Jim Leyland may be replacing Joe Girardi, but I'm pretty sure Jim Leyland has no desire to manage anymore. Because if he wanted to manage, I mean, there's almost any team out there who needs a manager would have taken Jim Leyland.
Sure.
I'm just surprised that when you think of Jim Leyland, I always think of him as the manager of the Pirates, of course.
Yeah.
And I still have in my mind, him celebrating with Dalton and Eisenreich and those guys when they did win that World Series in '97 with the Marlins. And then it's weird, but he had like a cup of coffee with the Rockies. It didn't work out well with him managing the Rockies.
Yeah, that's right.
Tigers, yeah, I mean he was pretty good with them for a while too.
It's not often you look up a general manager and you see his win-loss record. They have his career win-loss record every season. He's 24-58 and 25-23. Nine playoff appearances, 4 pennants and 2 World Series. I guess that's average. That's not like amazing.
Is it 2 World Series appearances or wins?
Titles.
With who? Other than Florida?
Florida and the Red Sox in 2018.
Oh, okay. That's right. I forgot he was with them then. That's right, he was.
Yeah, he beat the Dodgers. Wow. And then he was released on September 9th of the next year after he won the World Series. I never got that. The guy doesn't get a free pass.
Not in Boston, but you get free passes forever in Philadelphia, it seems.
Yeah.
And the Phillies are still struggling here, down 4-1. 2 outs, bottom of the 4th. Matt Vierlin.
A ton of base runners they've had. It's just they can't get the big hit from their 4 and 5 hitters.
No, they need Schwarber to get a home run here to get them right back in the game.
Yeah, lefty on lefty though. I don't know. Trevor Rogers has good stuff to have such a bad high ERA. ERA is in the mid-5s.
Yeah, I'm not sure how good the Marlins bullpen is because they're going to be in it soon with him being at 79 pitches.
Well, everybody that came in last night had an ERA in the under 2. Yeah, that was their A bullpen guys.
I saw our buddy Neris lost the game for the Astros last night. He's coming back to being Hector Neris again.
Yep. Yeah, I don't get the love for him, but
some guys can do that when they go to a new league. They can have success the first time around, but now he's facing these teams again, and guys have seen him and got a book on him. Just like I've said with the Phillies, they're trying to get every drop of good pitching out of Ranger Suarez that they can. I think they've got all of it.
Yeah. He left the game in the 4th inning the other night. He got a standing ovation. I didn't get that.
On Sunday when that was the the game where the Phillies probably weren't going to win that one, but that was the one where JT just dropped the ball that was thrown home. It should have been a double play.
Yeah. Schwarber swinging 3-0.
Yeah.
What did you say? Who do you think he is? Mike Schmidt? That was always the comment. 3-0. Who do you think you are? Mike Schmidt?
Because his 500th home run came on that 3-0 pitch.
Yeah. Off of Don Robinson, I believe.
I'm not sure about that. I just remember the call.
In Pittsburgh.
The iconic call by Harry Callis.
Yep.
Swing long. There it is.
Yep.
And I guess the Phillies were 2-8 at the time or something. They were really struggling.
Yeah, it was in April or May. It was early in the year.
I think it was in April, but they had struggled. They may have been 2-6 or something like that when he did it, because it was like, and the Phillies really needed that because of the struggles that they've had. And
that's funny. You always know where you are at these moments, and you have a lot. You have a lot of recall of moments like that. I actually remember where I was. I was in. Well, I'm sure you know the name. I don't know if people listening will know. I guess it's a worldwide store. I was in IKEA when he hit that home run.
Oh, wow.
Listening on my headphones, because I was that little boy that always listened to the Phillies games on his Walkman. So I heard it on the Walkman in IKEA. It was on a Sunday, and I was 10 years old.
I still have a Sony Walkman.
Yeah, is it black one?
I have that. And I have a yellow Panasonic
Yep.
one as well.
I was gonna say I had a yellow Sony. It played the cassette tapes.
Yep. Now, did yours, when it got to the end of side one, did it automatically click over side two, or did you have to take it out and turn it over?
Jeez, I don't know.
I know my Sony would automatically switch over. The Panasonic had to take it out and turn over.
I guess it switched over. I don't remember.
The Sony was the one that most people had, and was the one who trademarked the name Walkman, but the Panasonic one looked cooler.
I'm trying to find the reads. We're past time here.
Oh, okay.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
It's 8:38 on the East Coast. You're listening to Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And I'm going to do some reads, and we're going to have a commercial break. Southern California Warriors semi-pro football team. The world of semi-pro sports is unlike any other sports organization. I always get this part wrong. The players pay to play in hopes of so many different outcomes, whether it's playing to get filmed, to try out for professional teams, big-time colleges, or just playing to stay in shape. No matter what, all semi-pro players have one thing in common, and that's playing for the love of the game. The SoCal Warriors have been on a quest to earn titles and give players second chances since 2017, and the Phillies have tied the game. Something always happens while we're reading the updates. The SoCal Warriors have been on a quest to earn titles and give players second chances since 2017. Whether you're in Southern California or anywhere in the world, give semi-pro sports a chance. If you love your sport, you may get that second chance you've been waiting for as an athlete. For the last 8 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country, including right here in Philadelphia. All the while, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and with your help, we're ready to take the next step. When you go to our website, iesportsradio.com, you'll see our Patreon link with 5 different tiers, the first starting at just $5 a month. This donation gets you shout-outs on all 32 of our shows. Higher tiers include IE Sports Radio merchandise, access to our podcasting university, and even a chance to be featured on a segment of our flagship show, The Defining Moment. Thank you all very much for continuing to make IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all of the sports. And we have 4 Patreon supporters. We have Bay Area Raised, Marcus Los Great, Key to the Gate, and Anonymous. Our fan of the month is Justin Ekstrom, a Vikings fan from Minnesota. You can find him on Twitter at thesportscrib21. Thank you to everyone for making our 8th anniversary special, and here's to many more years to come. And we'll be right back after this break.
up, everybody? This is Taryn Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunder Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
The other ones had no sound. And we're back, 8:42 on the East Coast, 5:42 on the West Coast, as I steal a line from Chris Amos there. Now I'm starting to hear the commercial playing. We're having all kinds of technical issues tonight, guys. I don't know what's going on. Must be a full moon tonight.
Or a ghost in the machine. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But there is a full moon tonight.
Yeah, I know it. There must be. But anyways, guys, we're back. Our final segment of the show. We won't talk NASCAR about next week because there is no NASCAR next week, as it's Father's Day weekend. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Exactly.
The NASCAR did have a race Sunday, another race, a road course where once you got ahead, you weren't getting past. And I'm not happy with this new car setup, and I think a lot of people aren't, as there's no racing. It's just following cars around. It's like they're a train going around the track.
Yeah, being a fan of a guy, of a driver, can really take you out of the. If you enjoy NASCAR for NASCAR, okay, you can maybe go with it for a little bit. But most people, I think, who follow NASCAR have a driver or a team that they're fans of. I mean, that's how I watch NASCAR, and that's how I've always done it.
Sure.
And there's just times when your guy's out of it, and it's like, yeah, you're right. Okay, well.
Yeah, they're done. And even a guy like Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson was the dominant car early, and of course he gets a stupid speeding penalty in the pits, which I hate. I can't stand speeding penalty. He gets mired back in traffic. He went from first to 29th. And you look at the odds, he was still like the favorite to win the race, but he couldn't get past 15th.
No.
Once you get into those good cars, you can't pass them. I don't know. I don't know who likes that kind of racing. Not me. I like when there's a good, each week there's a good car, and there's a car that you can watch. And even going to the races back in the day at Dover, you used to see a Jimmy Johnson, how he was that much better than the field. And that's his team. That's Hendrick Motorsports putting a better car out there. It seems like this year the only team that really has the edge is Trackhouse, with Daniel Suarez and Ross Chastain, two guys that aren't at your top of their list when you think of talented drivers, but they've had the cars this year.
No, you're right. They have. And yeah, like you said, some of that there, I don't know if that's something NASCAR needs to wake up on or not. I don't know if it's something where they'll look and see if their ratings have changed or have been different, but
they have for me. I mean, I'm not tuned in like I once was.
Right. I agree.
I would never walk away from a race. Now it's like nobody's catching them.
One thing I did want to get your view on Stanley Cup Finals. Unfortunately, the Rangers, a team who we thought had a chance, we thought were a sleeper pick for us, and I know you had some other reasons, but
they didn't just have a chance. They had the series wrapped. They were up 2-0, led 2-0 in Game 3, and just let it slip away. They couldn't hold the lead. They lost that game late, and it seemed like every game with a minute left, they were losing the game. Tampa Bay, I guess you say the experience and the fact that they've been there before and the Rangers haven't been. That's what carried them through. And I think Tampa Bay wins it all at this point. I mean, their defense is just so tough. The Rangers even came out and said that at the end. Their forechecking and their the way they defend the net is just nobody's better.
So, and the thing is it going to be a situation where the Avalanche can somehow break that defense down and score like they've been doing? Because when you think of the Avalanche, you don't think of defense, you think of scoring.
Right.
But when you think of Tampa, you think of once they get the lead, they just clamp down. It's like the old New Jersey Devils.
Exactly. You do. That's how you. Is this Gavin Floyd on the mound for the Marlins?
I don't think it's Gavin. It's Floyd.
I know. It looks like him.
Wow.
Wow.
Gavin Floyd, wasn't he on the mound? Wasn't he on the mound when
in like 2000?
Yeah. Well, the guy. Now I'm blanking on his name. He ran face first into the.
Aaron Rowan.
Yeah, he was on the mound when he's the one who threw the pitch.
I got to see Gavin Floyd's age now. That it's. Yeah. Oh, he's 39. It's not him.
No.
It could have been him.
He was another guy in a long list of guys who in the Philadelphia system who everyone thought was going to be where you would have that talk about, well, he's going to be a good major league pitcher, and he just wasn't.
We could have a whole show on that subject.
Brandon Duckworth.
Bruce Ruffin.
Yeah. Cole Hamels is the one who panned out.
Yeah. The only one. Aaron Nola. Yeah. But I put out a tweet last night saying that the Marlins have produced more pitchers in 25 years than the Phillies have in their 140 years.
They brought in more pitchers who have succeeded than the Phillies have as well.
What, from other teams, you mean? Like Kevin Brown?
Yeah, when they brought guys in, they usually have ended up pitching well for them, where the Phillies seem to, when they bring in guys, couldn't.
Yep.
I mean, you just think of Josh Beckett came through their system. But Kevin Brown came over and things like that. And, yeah, they always were able to do that.
Jose Fernandez, the guy that died in the boating accident. This guy, Alcantara.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with Sixto Sanchez if he gets himself healthy.
I know. As our buddy Nick Castellanos goes down on strikes again.
Yep.
He's
the new JT.
Yep. You know who we don't mention? Of course, his name, as I think of him, his name gets away from the guy that they brought in from Houston that he pitched for the Braves, the right-hander. He pitched like 3 games for the Phillies. He got hurt.
Oh boy.
2 years ago or a year before. He's like still pitching.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who that was too.
Well, I don't know if they brought him from Houston or he went to Houston after here. Charlie Morton.
Oh, right.
It's a guy that everywhere he's gone, he's pitched 200 innings, won 10, 15 games. Comes here, he couldn't get off the, nothing. 4 games he pitched. 17 innings he pitched for the Phillies.
Yeah, at the time it looked like it was a good move for the Phillies to bring him in.
Yeah, and since then he's won 14 games, 15 games, 16 games, 2 in the COVID season, 14, and then 4 this year. He's still pitching for the Braves.
Wow.
15-year career. The Phillies get him the 1 year he didn't produce anything.
Shocking.
Yep.
It's like when I've seen what Adonis Medina has turned into. I mean, he's been a piece that has helped the Mets this year, and a guy who the Phillies they couldn't figure out whether he should be a starter, come out of the bullpen or whatever, but he just seemed not to be able to get it out. I mean, for a long time, we heard about Spencer Howard.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he's essentially done.
Medina really hasn't pitched well. Lately.
He's been in some big spots for them, and it's come through. But you're right. His numbers are up there a little bit.
Yeah, I mean he's only pitched 6 games, but he's 4.66 ERA, 5 runs, 9 innings. I mean,
if you want to see a horror story, look up the stats. this year for Spencer Howard. I guess he's out hurt now, injured. But my goodness, that's a horror story right there. A guy who everyone thought was going to be the next great pitcher, but
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't been good anywhere. He's 12.15 ERA. His career 1-8, one win in his career.
This is where I predict Zach Eflin gives at least one run back here, probably a home run.
Yeah, solo shot. Yeah. Is this Stallings the guy that called for the Pirates? The All-Star?
I believe so.
They signed an All-Star? Or they traded?
I'm not sure.
I was wondering if that's him or not, because I don't know if there's another Stallings. Let me see. I don't remember them getting him. The Marlins don't go out and sign big free agents. But yeah, Jake.
Speaking of the Pirates,
yeah, it's him. It's him.
You're right, it's him.
Yeah.
I was watching them against the Cardinals today, and it was not much of an exciting game. It was 3-1, but it seemed like it was 13-1 the Cardinals. But really cool thing happened. I could look up his name very quick. He has a hyphenated last name, but it was a guy making his major league debut. He batted for the first time in the ninth, and they were showing his family and his high school baseball coach and stuff. And he was from Dallas, Texas, and he got down 0-2 and ended up getting a double. I thought that was just a cool thing. Your first major league at bat on the road,
yeah,
and you get a double off the closer for the Cardinals.
Yeah, the Pirates. That's what they're constantly have guys making their debuts. It seems like it's.
That's true. I think me and you are getting called up in a month.
Yeah, that's just a team that doesn't spend money.
No.
We talked during the break about Rhys Hoskins. He's a guy that the Phillies are going to have to make a decision on. He's 29 years old. He's been with the team, for 6 seasons now. He's a big question mark. I mean, he hasn't been horrible and he hasn't been great.
No, and when he's going good, he'll tie the game like he did now, and he hit his first career walk-off last night, which was very interesting. That he's been around. That was the first time he's done that.
Yeah, 2,464 plate appearances, and that was his first walk-off hit and game-winning hit.
With Scott Boras as his agent, my goodness, I mean, he's a guy who can hit 30 home runs in a season. I mean, wow.
I think personally he's going to test free agency. Because I think he realizes the Phillies can't give him that kind of deal. They don't have any room left to give him the big money. And like we said, there's probably a team out there, Atlanta Braves, Yankees, the Red Sox, that have the money and probably will want to add a guy like him. The Dodgers, Red Sox.
Do you think Rhys Hoskins is a Yankee? I mean, that's just...
Yeah, put a mustache on him.
Yeah. Right. It just seems a little bit strange, him being a Yankee. I mean, I could picture him being on the Dodgers. Now, I could picture him in St. Louis, though, or Chicago.
Yeah. The Cubs. Yeah, I can see him on the Cubs. But he's a guy that you'll see him go elsewhere, and he'll still probably we'll be talking about how he's hit a home run in 4 straight games. But it's unfortunate. It is a spot where they probably don't have the cash unless they go with maybe what I said earlier. You'd move Realmuto. You give this Stubbs guy a chance to be the starting catcher, or like Logan O'Hoppe, like you said.
Well, they also have another move that they can make with JT. He could go to first base. I wouldn't recommend them doing that.
Yeah, but I'm talking about moving him for the money, though.
Oh, no, right, for the money. But what I'm saying is, if they're not going to pay Hoskins, are they looking at him then to be the first baseman? And like you said, play one of the other younger guys.
Well, they have a first baseman in the minors, that Jalen Ortiz, who I think they're going to want to give a shot at some point.
Well, you know how the Phillies are with that. I mean, they bring people up at the very, very latest point.
Yeah, and they've had him since he was really young, too. And I mean, to go to this, he probably is in his 20s now. Yeah, he's probably going to go a long time. Let's see Logan's numbers. He's 22, 6'2", 185. He's playing in Reading right now. He has 13 home runs in 174 at-bats, 37 ribbies, 287 average, 402 on base percentage, following up last year where he had a 440 on base percentage. So this guy can hit. Let's get him up here.
Well, Reese Hoskins is gone then.
The only problem is he's not on the 40-man roster.
Oh.
So in order to make a spot on the 40-man, you have to release somebody.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe Moniak.
Jose Alvarado.
Yeah, what's is he hurt or just
Alvarado?
They're finished with him?
No, he pitched. What day did he pitch? I guess he pitched Sunday.
Oh, he's back with the team.
Yeah, he was back and pitched Sunday. Well, when the game was completely out of hand, and I think it was 7-1 when he came in, and when he left, I think it was 10-1.
They're making a lot of moves. These guys are going up and down. I can't even keep up with them anymore. Sanchez is here one day and the minors the next.
Yep.
They got Francisco Morales, who's a guy that can float up and down. They got a Bailey Falter every other day. He's somewhere else.
Right.
But
Veerling just got called up a week ago, and now he's contributing. And they had Scott Kingery up for a little bit.
Yeah. Well, you know who's really been good? We have to give credit. We always bash these guys. Sir Anthony Dominguez has been awesome, especially after missing better part of 3 seasons. He's come back and lights out.
Yeah, and I don't know if Knebel is hurt. If he's going to have to go in the IL or not. Now,
Destiny Legardo tweeted that he's available tonight.
Now JT gets the hit.
Yeah, of course.
Give me a break with this guy.
6 runners left on base, and then he gets a hit.
Yeah, I said the other night in a conversation I was having with somebody on social media, I've never seen a guy throw as hard as Sir Anthony does, and it looks like he's not even trying.
Yeah, it's effortless. I guess that Tommy John gives you that extra couple MPHs on your fastball too.
Yeah, before the show ends, is the NBA Finals over, or does it go to 7?
I think it goes 7. I said it goes 7 before it started.
Yep, I thought Golden State 7 as well, and I wouldn't mind seeing Golden State winning at 6 because I just can't stand Boston. But
yeah, I had Golden State with the Rangers too. That was the bigger one.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we got 2 minutes left. We're going to be followed by the Neutral Zone. They'll do a Stanley Cup preview. And,
well, we didn't do the Flyers Minute, so we'll do the Flyers.
Oh yeah, the Flyers Minute. Wow, I almost forgot. The biggest tradition in sports. People all over the world tuning in for the Flyers Minute. Boo!
I don't know. It's either Trots or Torts.
We even have Boots and Booze in the background. I don't know.
It's Barrett Trotz or John Tortorella.
I don't know. If you were either one of them, why would you want the job?
I don't know. I don't know what they've been promised that they can do as head coach, what their influence can be. Everybody seems to want Barry Trotz, so I'd go the other way. I'd want John Tortorella. I'd want some guy who seems to be no nonsense, but I don't know.
That's like Jim Leland coming back to coach the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Right.
Exactly. We got booze all over the board. Terrence says he said Golden State in 6. Game 6, Klay Thompson will arrive and Steph will not go 0 for 9 from 3.
No.
We shall see. Everybody on the chat board, thanks for joining us. Episode 65. Everybody that downloads and listens every week, we appreciate you so much.
Yes, thank you very much.
And we will see you next Tuesday night. Everybody
we'll probably have a winner in the NBA, and
we will.
We'll see where the Phillies are.
You got it. Everybody have a great night.
Everyone.
Good night. Thanks for tuning in.